confession to make. I love candy. I could eat candy sometimes instead of a meal, but since I'm a teacher, that's not a really good role model for kids now, is it? And then we have the dreaded, gigantic candy bar sale at school. I guess I don't want to get started on that one and the issue with nutrition that we have with kids, but still, I need to confess, I love candy. When my middle son was younger, he would hide his Halloween candy from me. Not good. But anyhow, today we're going to make candy and we're going to be happy about it. And the nice thing is that it's going to make just a little serving size. And maybe candy isn't so bad, I can tell myself, if I only eat the proper serving size. Perhaps we can all use that advice. But today it's going to be caramel clusters. And then you can jazz them up with toffee bits or pecans and call them something different. But first of all, let's talk about the ingredients. We're going to, of course, have our caramels. It's a 14-ounce package. We're going to have a little bit of butter, Dairy Delicious butter in it, a couple of tablespoons of water, and that's going to be your little caramel. When we melt, we're going to stir in the toffee or the pecans, whatever you like and how much. Just experiment around a little bit. And then we're going to dip them in our white or chocolate coating mix. And I really like the blend because it's not chocolate overload. Is there such a thing as chocolate overload? Maybe not. But anyhow, that is going to be our coating blended together today. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to put the 2 tablespoons of butter in with my caramel. And then I'm going to add the 2 tablespoons of water. And this is so easy, and it's just going to go in the microwave. Now I'm going to put the caramels into the microwave, and I'm going to be very cautious and careful about how often I check and stir these. It should take 3 to 3.5 minutes, and it should be on high. And you want to be careful because you don't want them overdone. So let's set it for 30 seconds on high. And then at the end of that, we're going to stir it. And we're going to continue stirring after each 30 seconds till about 3 minutes. Well, I think this should be the last stir, but let's just double check because you don't want to overdo it. Oh, this looks good. Really smooth and creamy. And now this is the step when it can get kind of tricky. Whenever you're working with caramel, for those of you who cook, you know it's sticky. So don't expect this to be a clean, neat little process. And one of the things I'm going to do is I've got some spray coating here, and I'm going to spray my hands a little bit, and I'm also going to spray a little bit in my tablespoon because the tablespoon's kind of going to be your scant measure for what you're going to do. But before I put those in, I do want to add, this time I'm going to add both the toffee bits, and that was a cup, and a cup of my toasted pecans. And you can see it is sticky, but that's what makes it good. So what I'm going to do now is pull out my 1 tablespoon measure because that's about how many of you want to go in 1 peanut cluster. Well, actually pecan cluster today, but you could use peanuts too. So let's do that right now. I've sprayed a little coating on my fingers because remember I knew it was going to be sticky. And here I've got about a tablespoon. I'll put it right there. Actually, looks good enough to eat right now without the chocolate, but I guess we'll wait. Patience is a great virtue. And you just do that until you're completely done. And it's probably going to make 24 or so. It just depends on what size you want them to be. But remember, I said I was really concerned about it being a serving size so that I don't overindulge on my candy. So we're going to continue to do that. And remember, I'm going to put them in the freezer and let them freeze up. We can now melt the chocolate and have that step done. So let me take my 4 ounces of the chocolate, white and regular chocolate, and put it in here. And we're going to use the microwave again because it's so much more convenient. And remember, the same thing applies. I like doing it in slow increments of about 30 seconds each until you get the chocolate melted. And I'm guessing about 2 minutes it's what it's going to take. So I've got it melted down and stirred thoroughly. It's a little different color. You'll like it. Now here's something that I do differently when I dip chocolates. This is just too big of a measure. I love to melt in this, but it's just too big for what I want to do next. So I'm going to scrape all of this out of here, being careful to get all of my chocolate, and I'm going to put it in a smaller 1 cup liquid measuring cup, and I'm going to show you why I think this is easier. So we've got most of it there. Let's just put this out of the way for right now. Now, some of these, when you have them, you'll notice that they go kind of just a bit flat when you put them in the freezer. These have been setting out for 5 minutes, and the one thing that I like to do is pick them up, and they lift very easily because you sprayed the pan. And I will spray my fingers again because it's kind of sticky. And I just pick them up and mold them in my hand just a little bit, because I would like for all of these to be a nice uniform shape when I set them out for others to eat and enjoy. And so here's another one. And can you see the difference where I've molded some? I'm just going to shape this one just a tad bit more. And what I really like to do is I turned over the top side and I just dipped it right in there. It was so easy because I had the depth of the chocolate to do it. And then I'm going to put it over here in a pan that I have lined with wax paper. And that way it's not going to stick to the dish. Candy brings a smile to everyone's face. It's a wonderful treat. And we like it for a wide variety of reasons. It can make us feel better. It can give us a little energy. But just remember, candy doesn't have to be your enemy as long as you eat just the one serving size. Maybe that cures that little sweet treat urge that you have in the evening. And that's what I do. I put these in the freezer, and when I don't have any dessert or I feel like I deserve a reward, I just go out and get one. And they're in the freezer, and my freezer's outside, so that's why. Bring them back in, and then I eat one and feel really good. Now, when I finished with some of our little caramel clusters, you can see here that I also used some garnishes on the ones I have here in my little glass containers. I had some little chocolate sprinkles. I saved back some of my toffee bits, and I sprinkled those on top to add a little texture, a little fun to the appearance of it. These I left smooth. I could probably even find enough reason to put raisins in these too. I like raisins. So however you want to do it, you be the judge. That's why you like cooking. Remember, whether it's in my family and consumer science classroom or with my family and friends, the special ingredients that flavor all home cooking are caring and sharing.
Down the Road is brought to you in part by Prince Agra, makers of Omnigen AF, advancing animal nutrition for healthy animals, and Woodruff Enterprise of Springfield, Ohio.